Growing majority of Britons think Brexit was a mistake, new poll shows.
Here's a summary of the article.
A new China strategy is also being devised in Berlin, which Germany's foreign minister, Annalena Baerbock, says needs to be more assertive. We clearly stated in the coalition agreement that China is our partner on global issues and that we cannot decouple in our globalized world, but also that China is a competitor and increasingly a systemic rival, Baerbock said. It is wrong for two main reasons. First, because it is not a united European front, and I think that if Ukraine has taught us something, it is that we stand stronger when we, as Europeans, stand united when the 27 speak together with the same strong voice, and clearly that won't be the case if Scholz goes on his own just to represent his country. So that is really unfortunate, Kogolati told Euronews. The second reason is, haven't we learned anything from the past and anything from the dependency of Germany and other European member states on Russia? I think again we should rethink the way we look at China. China has changed enormously under Xi Jinping. In Europe, we should really reinvest in value chains based in Europe, value chains that are sustainable over the long term. Clearly too big of a dependency on China is bad for our future as Europeans. Last year, a trade deal between the two was indefinitely suspended, following allegations of human rights abuses in China's Xinjiang region and after sanctions were imposed on some European lawmakers. In one way, it's relatively normal that European leaders do their own bilateral visits. There is a national agenda, as well as the European one. I think the question from other leaders, as we saw in the European Council the other week, is, again, what has been coordinated by way of a European message? He told Euronews.
This post received a score of 41,000, with an upvote ratio of 90%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Well, eventually the slow runners cross the finish line.
Well, it were the elderly of whom the majority voted in favor. So over time this statistic will skew towards those that voted remain.
Because the ones that voted leave no longer remain.
They will leave remains.
The evil that men do lives after them, the good is oft interred with their bones. Mark Antony, Shakespeare's Julius Caesar.
This Shakespeare fellow has a way with words.
Very underrated. You might not have heard of these works, but check out Macbeth and Hamlet, pretty good reads.
Greater than Hamlet, pretty good reads a small ham? How interesting could it possibly be?
My favorite post-Brexit story was some dinosaur metric-hating greengrocer proudly declaring that he was going back to LBS and Aussies like that was a good thing.
This 2017 WSJ article about a bunch of vigilante British pensioners sneaking around in the evening to surreptitiously change metric signs back to imperial is the epitome of funny but in a very very sad way.
The metric system is the tool of the devil. My car get 40 rods to the hogshead, and that's the way I likes it.
Greater than the metric system is the tool of the devil. My car get 40 rods to the hogshead, and that's the way I likes it. Now, to take the ferry cost a nickel, and in those days, nickels had pictures of bumblebees on 'em. Gimme 5 bees for a quarter, you'd say. Now where was I? Oh yeah.
Piffle. My ox cart gets 30 leagues to the quintal and runs on barley. I miss the times when we would use groats.
I need to send a letter to the Prussian consulate in Siam by steamship. How many shillings do I need?
Aeromail is the fastest. Did you miss the 4:30 autogyro? My parents are from a key demographic and area that voted for Brexit. They and their friends would never admit this even if they believed it, which they don't. They'd blame everyone and everything else before their vote. As much as I believe some have changed their opinion. I'd be surprised if it was anything that didn't leave a large majority that would vote for Brexit all over again.
According to my father, it's all the EU's fault, and they shouldn't be treating us this way.
Greater than, they shouldn't be treating us this way, why not? We want to tear up the deal, okay it's gone, no not like that, I swear some people can't get their heads out of their own asses long enough to understand the rest of the world isn't going to fall over itself to do them a solid.
Was that not literally the message of the Brexiters? We're so great the EU will be forced to give us all the advantages we like while we get to ignore any parts we don't, and anyone that said different was just fearmongering.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.